Hey, buddy.
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. We're live.
Live on YouTube. What's up, YouTube?
What's up, guys?
Well, I just got back from kayaking, so that was awesome. And now it's time to do a little tip of the week.
Tip of the week. Yeah, I mean, this is really sort of the end, our Friday, where we start to think about some of the conversations that we've had throughout the week and sort of systemize it down to maybe a nugget or so of stuff that you could implement in your business.
Yep.
And one of the things that we talked about, and we've talked about a lot recently, is how media itself becomes an important piece of your brand growth and even your product strategy. Because we've taught in the Influencer Marketing Masterclass, which if you haven't taken it, it's absolutely free. You can request access to it. We'll throw some links into the replay in the show here. You can access it. It's good stuff. But in that, we really talk about how do you use influencer marketing to begin to grow your brand, grow your audience, grow your sales and visibility for your products. But they sort of out of that conversations, we really saw the inverse of people asking, well, how do I become an influencer? How do I give my brand enough influence and media exposure to warrant being paid for that, or to do affiliate deals, or to do larger sort of partnership deals with other companies? And that's been in the back of our minds as we've had these conversations. And then as we've sort of moved in with the Happy Gardening Life that already had a pretty strong media presence, how do we slam the accelerator down on that to see growth, but then also monetize it? Because really, if you're doing media properly, it's not just an extension to sell a product. In of itself, it has absolute value and almost deserves its own sort of product strategy for monetization. Now, that might just be your products, but I think that's a little bit of a narrow focus for it because it has such a much broader potential in that. So I'm open to your thoughts. I'd love to continue this conversation.
I mean, it's an interesting idea, isn't it? Obviously, the godfather of all these related topics is Gary Vee, of course, who basically was talking about building a media-centric brand, 5-8 years ago, however far back as you can remember. And most people were like, what now?
Yeah, exactly.
So, to me, it boils down to how do you have a system for the content?
Yeah.
And so I think each of us can really, this is the tip of the week is, hey, build a system for your video content, your media content, that's the appropriate content for your tribe or followers. And so obviously our little, backstory here in terms of growing and managing the Happy Gardening Life, owning that now. We're into this almost a month. We've owned it and it's been awesome. And so one of the things we wanted to do was have original video content. And I will be on camera this spring and summer in my Happy Garden, but we haven't done that yet. But the first thought that came to my mind was, how do we get the right video and make it meaningful for that audience and efficiently and systematic? So I'll just share I'll share an example post, and I'll show people how we got it done and the cost and time that it's taking us. So let me just share, flip over to Instagram. So this is Happy Gardening Life, Instagram. And so this is a video post that we shared in our feed yesterday. It's got almost 12,000 views, 11,765 views in one day. And it's a video that has a little graphic over the top, the Happy Gardening Life, chickens, and there you go. That's the video. It's chickens.
It's just chickens. Just chickens.
It's just the chicks, man. And almost 12,000 views. So you might be wondering if that's my backyard burn barrel as it happens or whatever. It is not. That's not my backyard. So how did we get this done? And you can see like the engagement is super cool. I mean, people totally dig the content because it's the right content for the right audience. We got a little quote of the day on the post and very engaged. So pretty straightforward. The way I got this accomplished was I used this website called Storyblocks. And you basically can sign up for a little monthly subscription and get high res HD video for many, many, many topics. And so I signed up, and then I just gave the credentials to our Jaden, our video guy. And I said, Jaden, here's what I want. I kind of gave him the vision for this. I said, I want it to have Happy Gardening Life, kind of a nice graphic over the top. And it, just needs to be under 30 seconds, and go find all of the clips possible in Storyblocks that would relate to gardening. So his first one was hummingbirds, crushed it, just destroyed. It was awesome clips of hummingbirds. Then he did ladybugs. Now he's done chickens, and he's just going through the Storyblocks HD video now, putting our badge on it. And it's so fast. He literally said, well, this will take me like 5 minutes. And I was like, well, you got to charge me something. I mean, if he would have charged me his hourly rate, that's not even fair to him. It's like, it's such a fast thing. So, I told him, look, charge me like, I don't know, could you do, if you did two for $15, so charge me like, $7.50 a piece or something like that. It was like, so, so that's what he's charging me. So it's like super, super low cost. And now here's the thing. He's making these, he's putting them into the Dropbox folder. And then our team in the Philippines is adding them to the site. I'm not even involved. These surprise me when they come out. Like,
what's going to happen?
I saw them. I was like, I didn't even know any of this was happening. I knew the system was set up, but I didn't know what content specifically was happening. So it's just super straightforward, and it's a media machine that serves this brand well, and is obviously, growing engagement and growing the tribe and the audience nicely. And we've got a whole nother layer. And if you haven't watched last week's video about maximum visits from minimum content through blogging, this type of content that we have on Instagram is directly tied to what we're going to be embedding in blog posts. And so you can envision a scenario where we have a really, really killer long form blog post and about chickens in the garden, and that they're happy or whatever. And we've got, a half dozen video clips like this of chickens in the garden in the blog post with, 2,500 words. And that long form blog post will add traffic from Pinterest and SEO value. And so you get the idea here that the machinery of high quality video, somebody on your team edits it, somebody else publishes it, and you just give them the guiding direction for it, is really how these, a media machine can start to come together. And really, really encourage everybody to think through how they can do this in support of their tribe or audience. Obviously, the gardening niche is sort of unique, but every niche is unique. I mean, every niche has these weird little angles. They're like opportunities. You just have to find yours for your product or niche. So those are my thoughts.
No, I think that's great. I think it's just cool to see how simple, once you have the right system in place and the team in place, like it's just going, and there's simplicity to it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things that I was going to say about that too was, or it was a quote that the Gary Vee said, that when you were talking about Gary Vee reminded me of it. He was like, his whole thing, or what he does is he arbitrages attention. That's his whole thing. Like he talks about, right? He's like arbitrage attention. So sometimes as physical products people, we think about arbitraging, from retail or online, and, this conversation about products. But to be a media company really means you're arbitraging attention.
And so what do you think he means by that?
I think that what that means is he's creating content that takes and captures people's attention for a split second in order to either inspire them, challenge them, or in essence, redirect them. So if you're promoting something, you're trying to redirect attention to something else, or you're trying to redirect attention, awareness even of your brand.
Sure.
And so that's in essence what he is. Because if you notice, he never really sells a lot. Sometimes he will sell like a wine,
the shoes, but anyway.
But for the most part, it's really more about like the content that he has and just arbitraging that content, staying top of mind. And then through that, and through the weight of that, he then gets, you know, his own ad agency and stuff involved. And so people are starting to come through that, and he's attracting more people than he is pushing stuff out there.
Yep.
And I also think that's sort of part of the strategy too, is he's just trying to take that second, that moment, the Instagram story, inspiration of challenging them and causing them to think. And then, oh, it's Gary Vee top of mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to look more of his stuff. I want to watch more of his long form content, his pillar content. Maybe it's a YouTube video or some sort of keynote that he gives. And now you're sort of ingrained in thinking along his content angles.
Yeah.
So I think that's what he means by that. So how do we translate that then as a e-commerce brand?
Right.
I think that it's very much the same sort of concept where we're putting content out and we're trying to use it to stay top of mind and improve engagement. And then eventually we're maybe taking that audience, that those impressions, those eyeballs, and putting them to an offer or putting them into a piece of content for that. But that's not always the goal of this content, right? Like the goal of the chicken video is just to get engagement. Yeah, and to provide something of value to somebody like who likes gardening and
make somebody happy.
They're like, oh, that's cool. The chickens are playing.
Chickens make me happy.
They do, yeah.
You know, there's actually a godfather of a media brand before Gary Vee, who I just thought of, who actually is a perfect example, and that's Bob Ross.
That's true.
Bob Ross.
That's true.
Just mesmerizing to me. I mean, when I was a kid, he was on PBS. And it was literally the boringest thing. Anybody would just skip right past it. And then the other day, my son and I were somewhere at a big store, and they had Bob Ross playing, you know, just paint. If you're not familiar, he's the guy on PBS that would paint the scenes. And my son told me there's a Twitch channel that streams Bob Ross videos all the time, like constantly. The dude is like, I'm pretty sure passed away like decades ago. And but his singular focus on his content of just making those portraits is living on and making somebody like a ton of money. And you realize, dang, he made that content 20, 30 years ago. And it's just continually being used. And the young folks, the millennials and younger, apparently think he's amazing. And wow. I mean, just like, that's really the godfather of content media company, you know? So.
Yeah. So I think the challenge then for us is to begin to think, well, so the question is, if you're just starting out and you're like, okay, I don't really have a really great product yet, or I'm trying to figure that out. Your opportunity is in fact, figure out product, but also identify the audience you want to serve and begin to think through how do you create media and that warrants people's attention, right? That provides enough value that you become relevant.
You know,
and yes, that makes it harder because you're kind of trying to do both. But in the long term, once because what you'll probably end up happening is you're going to figure out one or the other first, you know, and then bolt the other one on as you sort of gain traction.
Podcasters have figured this out, of course. In fact, you know, I remember hearing James Altucher, who's my favorite podcaster, and he was talking to some of his buddies, and they were setting up to do the world record longest podcast. And it was going to be like 72 hours or something like that. They had figured it all out. They were going to do things and like take turns. But that idea of long form content is all the rage. You know, it makes me realize, you know what Lita could do? Lita could do a 24-hour a day drawing and painting live stream video channel.
Yeah, that's true. And it's just the
it's Bob Ross. It's Bob Ross, dude.
Well, if I could rock a fro, then
well, okay. So to wrap up, we would say that even if you're a hardcore e-commerce seller where you're just, you know, you got your t-shirt on lockdown or whatever, think about whatever it is that you sell, how media play, which means content, either podcast, video, story type content, can be woven into the picture so that you build your tribe, build your following, give them something to engage with. And who knows, maybe to the extent it even grows, you turn into an influencer and you get paid, endorsements, you get one-off deals, so that the content you create is literally underwritten by other people, not even just by your own sales. And so that would be sort of the takeaway. Go check out Storyblocks if you need high quality HD video. There are a million sites like that. There are tons on the photo side as well. But that one in particular is video. And think through how you can start to weave in content strategy to your work. I think it's a fantastic tip, man.
Yeah, I think it's something all of us need to be aware of. And one other thing I wanted to mention was that your brand, your niche has unique characteristics that you have to figure out and unlock. But also, you are not a snowflake. There are plenty of other people who are crushing it in your niche. Go see what they're doing. Go reverse engineer it. Go figure it out. Go see what content's engaging, and then add your own spin to it. You don't have to recreate the wheel. You don't have to become the next. You don't have to become a new Bob Ross. You just have to figure out what Bob Ross was doing, and begin to implement and take away what was the key pieces of it.
No doubt. Yeah, good stuff, dude. Well, have a great weekend. I think this is a fantastic tip. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. And if you want more videos like this, of course, winningonshopify.com is where all of our blog and embedded videos are hosted. There's also links to our Inner Circle, which is our monthly group coaching, and then to one-on-one coaching, which is by application only. But there are a couple slots we've got. I think Thursday morning has got like 1 or 2 slots. So if you are interested in having us help you directly, check those links out, winningonshopify.com, and we'll go from there. So good times, man.
Good stuff. Have a good weekend.
You too, man. See ya.
Bye.